Hi, Dr. Shmaila here. I will teach you kinesiology. Kinesiology that is based on our textbooks, Tina Gardner. Now, start with first chapter, chapter number 1, that is mechanical principles. What are our learning objective? What is force? Composition of forces, law of parallelogram with examples in the human body, and mechanics of position including gravity, center of gravity, line of gravity, and base. Basically, I divided chapter number 1 in different parts. No, start from force. What is force? Force is that which alters the state of rest of a body as uniform motion in a straight line. Composition of forces. Application of a force to a body is specified by the direction of the force. This may be represented by the direction of arrow, and the magnitude of force. This may be represented by the length of the arrow. Length of the arrow and direction of the force. That may be represented as the direction of the arrow. And the tail of the arrow drawn to represent force can be taken as the point of the application of that force. No, look at case of single force act and when two forces act. If a single force, then it causes movement in the direction of that force. Two forces acting in the same direction and at a common point act as a single force. Two equal forces acting at a common point and opposite direction result in a state of equilibrium. Two unequal forces acting at a common point and opposite direction result in movement in the direction of the greater force. Now, what is law of parallelogram? When the two forces acting at angle to each other, that is called law of parallelogram. If the two forces represented by the line AB and AC act at A point, then the diagonal AX of the parallelogram ABXC represents the force to which they are equivalent. One example of this occurs in when deltoid muscle contract during shoulder abduction. Remember, shoulder abduction is contributed by deltoid middle fibers. While if we look at the deltoid muscle action, then deltoid muscle has three fibers. Deltoid anterior fibers contributing shoulder flexion, middle fibers contributing shoulder abduction, and the posterior fibers contributing shoulder extension. Now look at this example that when the deltoid muscle contract during shoulder abduction, the action of the anterior and posterior fibers of the muscle being compounded to work with the middle fibers so vastly increase their power. That is the purpose. Look at this diagram. That is law of parallelogram that anterior fibers, posterior fibers converge to it at common point and act with the middle fibers so increase their capacity, power. Look at another example in the human body of calf muscles. Um, if we look at calf muscles, then gastrocnemius muscle is the major muscle, and it has two heads, medial and lateral head, and fibers from medial and lateral side converge at a common point, and that common point where the force is basically produced. So vastly increase their capacity of exerting force. Now, if two unequal forces produce acting on a body produce rotation of the body, for example, scapular rotation by contraction of the trapezius and serratus anterior. Now, what is tension? Tension is defined as a system of the forces tending to separate parts of the body combined with equal and opposite forces which hold the parts together. It is measured in Newton. In physiology, the terms tension and force are used synonymously. For example, intramuscular tension basically force of muscle contraction, and strength of the muscle is its ability to generate tension. The strength of the muscle is when there is strength in the muscle, then it can generate tension. And intramuscular tension is basically is the force of muscle contraction. Tension means that muscle is working, contracting. Now we start with mechanics of position. What is gravity? Gravity is the force by which all bodies are attracted towards the earth. Newton basically concluded from the experiment and observation that a force of attraction exists between all material objects, and magnitude of this attraction was directly proportional to the mass of each body and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The gravitational attraction of the earth for every other body is directed towards the earth's center. Force of gravity acts continuously upon human body, and if human body if force of gravity unopposed, then the human body will fall to the ground. If gravity not act, then the human body will fall to the ground. Effect of gravity, how we counterbalance it? Effect of gravity can be counterbalanced when a force equal and opposite to it is employed, such as sport of a plinth, buoyancy of water, or static muscle contraction. If, however, gravity is opposed by a force which is greater, movement will occur in the direction of that force. Look at this example. From the standing position, the heels can be raised from the ground by the contraction of the calf muscle working in opposition to the resistance of gravity, providing the force of their contraction exceeds that of gravity. The heel will remain raised as long as the force of static contraction of the muscle is equal to that of gravity. Heel will be lowered to the ground by the action of the gravity if the muscles relax. Now look at what are the anti-gravity muscles. Basically, movement of the joints may occur as a result of the gravity or muscle action, and each may control the effect of the other. In the erect position, balance is maintained by the reciprocal contraction of the many muscles that are called anti-gravity muscles, while true relaxation can only occur under the condition in which muscles are no longer required to work against the effect of the gravity, as the latter are cancelled out by the adequate force. These are all anti-gravity muscles because they are working reciprocally, reciprocally contracting in maintaining standing position. Gastrocnemius, you can say, leg anterior and posterior side muscles, hamstring, quadriceps, spine extensors, flexors, neck extensor, neck flexors. These are all anti-gravity muscles. Now, what is center of gravity? Center of gravity of human body locating in second sacral vertebra. Most important question. Second sacral vertebra. Center of gravity of a rigid body is a point in it through which the earth's attraction effectively acts whatever the position of the body, the point through which the line of action of the weight acts. A rigid body will balance when it is supported only at its center of gravity. A uniform rod will balance at a point exactly halfway along its length. Then it will come in equilibrium state. The center of gravity of an irregular piece of cardboard can be discovered by suspending it consecutively from at least 2 points at its margins and marking on it the line taken by a plumb line when the latter is at the point of suspension in each position. The point of intersection of the two lines will be the center of gravity, which need not necessarily lie within the body, as in the case of a ring or boomerang. Basically, if we look at this irregular piece of cardboard, then if we hang it from 2 points, one we hang first from one point, and then we draw a line, and then we hang at other point, and then another line, and then the meeting point is basically center of gravity. That is the center of gravity. Center of gravity of human body in the anatomical position is reported to be in the vicinity of the body of the second sacral vertebra. Its position may vary However, according to the anatomical structure of the individual being higher in men and children than in the average woman, location of the basically center of gravity will vary with each of the many and varied positions by the body assumes. Like while look at this position, sitting position, center of gravity shift forward, or while doing the jump, the phenomena hang in the air. The jumper's head stays at the same level, but the center of gravity follows a parabolic path due to the raising and lowering of the arms. That's why we can say center of gravity vary according to postures the body assumes. Line of gravity. Line of gravity is a line. It is always vertical. Line of gravity must outside the base of the sport to initiate or continue the movement. The further away the line of gravity from the base of sport, then greater the tendency to move in that direction. In the case of the human body, in the fundamental standing position, line of gravity passes to from the second sacral vertebra. Then it passes through the vertex and the point between the feet and level with the transverse tarsal joint. It is estimated that on an average, when the posture is good, then the line passes through the mid cervical and mid lumbar vertebra and front of the thoracic vertebra. Look at this figure that it is passing from the mid lumbar, mid cervical and mid lumbar vertebra, but in front of the thoracic vertebra. The external ear and the point of the shoulder are in the same frontal plane and lie lateral to the line, and the central axis of the knee joint and ankle joint are basically posterolateral. These basically line passes from the knee joint and ankle joint, and they are basically posterolateral. This is the line of gravity. For balance to be maintained, it is essential that line from the line of gravity should fall within the base of the sport. The farther the line of gravity from the center of the base of sport, the lesser the stability. The nearer the line of gravity to the center of the base of sport, then the greater the stability. Now, what is base? Basically, base as applied to the rigid body is the area by which it is supported. In the case of a cube, the face on which it rests is the base, whereas the effective base of a chair may be considered as area bounded by the lines joining the leg. In the lying position, the posterior aspect of the whole body forms the base. In the straight standing, it is the area as wide as the feet and as long as the distance between their outer borders. If a patient walks with sticks or crutches, the base of sport is the area between the crutches and the feet. This is all base. Hopefully, you understand these concepts. Thank you.